All right, hey, this is Jesse with Create This. It is May 2018. The last time I did an electric mower review video was with the Greenworks Twin Force 40 volt here. I bought this back in 2016, April, so I've had it for about 2 years. And at the time, I bought this mower because the reviews on this mower were not so good. There were a lot of people saying that they were like QC issues and they would die after about a month of use, right? So I revisited that this year because my robo-mow failed. This is not like a super heavy-duty mower, and I needed, my robo-mow was mowing most of my yard for me, and I would just use this for like trimming up the edges and things like that. Anyway, my robo-mow died finally. Yet another component on it failed. It's not real great for reliability. But anyway, so I bought this one. I looked at the reviews first, and it seemed like people were, not complaining that it was dying after a month of use anymore. So I assumed that they fixed whatever reliability issue it was that they had. So this is the 80 volt, 21 inch Greenworks Pro mower. And it has a metal deck, which is nice. The 40 volt had a plastic deck, and it also has one large blade under the metal deck as opposed to the two blades on the 40 volt. And what that means is you get a much better cut. It's just like using a traditional gas lawnmower. So anyway, I've had this mower for, I bought it in February, late February, so I've had it for about 2 months, maybe a month and a half, something like that. I've mowed numerous times with it, and I like it. It doesn't, there don't seem to be any problems with it. So one thing that I have noticed is like almost immediately this little plastic front cover came loose, and I haven't been able to figure out how to reattach it. I assume something broke. So that's kind of chintzy. But everything else on the mower seems pretty solid. I'm not gentle with my mowers. I run over rocks by accident. I've got kudzu in my backyard, so I run over kudzu to kill the roots. I abuse them. I'm not easy on my mowers, and this one seems to be holding up just fine. In front of me here, you can see a comparison between the batteries. I have a whole video. By the way, the review for this mower, I've got that linked down below the video in the description if you want to check that out. I'm not going to revisit that too much, but I also have a whole review for the various batteries here that Greenworks offers. So these are the two 40 volt batteries that go with the Twin Force, and these are the two 80 volt batteries that go with, these are two 80 volt batteries that can be used with this mower. This is a 4 amp hour battery, and this is a 2 amp hour battery. I highly recommend using the 4 amp hour batteries with this mower. Unless you have a very small yard to mow, the 2 amp hour isn't going to cut it. And I feel like probably the amp draw is high enough that you're actually heating up the battery too much, and it's reducing, the capacity of the battery as you're mowing, because I feel like these 4 amp hour batteries last way more than twice as long as the 2 amp hour batteries. That's anecdotal. I haven't done a scientific test or anything, but it's just my opinion that these 4 amp hour batteries are a much better choice with the mower. I use the 2 amp hour batteries in my chainsaw. So they claim, I think, that you can mow with an entire battery, an entire 4 amp hour battery. You can buy two of them, right? So two 4 amp hour batteries. They claim that you can mow with an entire battery, be charging the previous battery, and just swap them out, and like it's a direct swap. In my experience, that hasn't been the case. Usually, if I have one of these on the charger, like I just burned it, I just mowed with it, and I start with another one and I mow the entire battery, usually the first battery that I'm charging is not done charging yet. It's maybe 3/4 of the way charged. Well, 2/3, I guess, because the only indicator you get are these 3 LEDs. So usually the third LED is still blinking on the charger by the time I'm done. Having said that, 2 batteries is more than enough for my yards. I don't know how much square footage I have, but it's fairly large. It feels very uncomfortable to mow with a 21-inch mower, just because it takes so long. Fortunately, I have 3 teenage boys, and we usually just swap out, and so one of us will do 1/3, the other will do the other third, and another one will do the final third. And I mean, that makes it pretty manageable. And so with all 3 of us mowing, we go through about 2 batteries, 2 4-amp-hour batteries for this yard. So it does work, and it works quite well. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way, and I'll show you some of the features of the mower. All right, so the first thing that most people are probably curious about is how does the battery go in. This is one of the 4-amp-hour batteries, fully charged, and so it just slides into this little slot here, and there's this tab right here at the top for releasing it. So you just push it until it clicks, and you're ready to go. At that point, anytime the battery is in the mower is armed. So at that point, the way you start it is you just hold down this button and you push the brake. It gets louder than that. The control board senses the current that the motor is drawing, and it will apply more power to the mower or less depending on the load of the work that you're doing. So if you have really tall grass, it gets louder and it feeds more current to the motor. If you have short grass and it doesn't have to work as hard, then it doesn't. If you're mowing, if you're just holding the button down over a section of grass that's already been mowed, then it steps down pretty quickly to its lowest amp load. But it's an electric mower. There's practically no cost to turning it off, convenience-wise. So when you're transporting it, don't hold it down like you would with a gas mower. Just turn it off and then start it back up when you reach the new spot that you want to mow. The push-button start is incredibly convenient. Like I said, usually I have my kids help me mow, and they always complain and have trouble with the pull cords. Every single time. I don't think they've ever gone to mow and they haven't called me out there to help them start the mower. With the push-button start, everybody gets it. It's super easy. So I highly recommend the push-button start. It is fantastic if you hate pull cords. Let's see. Removing the battery is just as simple as inserting it. All you do is you push down on this tab here, that releases it, and then you slide it out. At this point, the mower is disarmed and you can work on it. So it has this height adjustment. Maybe I'm stupid, but I always just leave it in the number 1 slot. I like to cut my grass fairly low, but it has a lot of slots. It goes all the way up to 7. There is a linked cable here, or a push rod, that raises the front wheels as well as the back wheels at the same time. So I don't know. Seems like a fairly robust system to me. Incidentally, I have seen, I think Greenworks licenses this system to other companies, because I'm almost positive that the steel battery-powered lithium-ion mower is the exact same model rebranded from Greenworks. I've looked at them in the stores. They're identical. They've got the same push rod linkages. The battery size is the same. Everything's the same, right? It's just a different color. It's been rebranded. Also, there's a Cobalt mower that I also believe is a rebranded Greenworks mower. Cobalt's like a Lowe's brand. So I don't know if that's an indication that it's a good system because other companies are willing to license it, or if that's just an indication that Greenworks has a good marketing team. I don't know, but there's that. So let's see, the mower itself. Let's flip it over first, and then I'll talk about cost. You always want to pull the battery before you do something like this. So this is the blade here, and as you can see, it's fairly similar to a traditional blade in that it takes 1 solid bolt to take the blade off. However, there's this weird plastic fan thing, and I assume that this is to cool the brushless motor. I'm not entirely sure. I was initially concerned that this plastic fan thing would break when I hit a rock or something, but so far it hasn't broken. So I don't know what the durability and longevity of that is, but I mean, so far after just a month and a half of using it, it seems to be a fairly solid system. I have mine set up as a mulcher. I believe it does come with a bagging option, but I always mulch. You have to store it inside because it is an electric system, and you don't want to mow in the rain, and you don't want to leave it out in the rain because you'll probably kill the electronics. I don't think they're weather sealed. So what you'll find is that if you store it inside and you don't clean the deck, your garage will end up smelling like lawn clippings. Looks like mine has molded a bit, but in practice, I'm fine with that. It seems to work just fine. I've got a fair amount of space where I can store it, so it's good. Anyway, it seems like a fairly robust system. I like it. Let's talk cost. So again, this is 2018. At this time, the mower itself is going on Amazon for about $270. The 4 amp hour batteries are going on Amazon for about $188 each. That is not cheap, especially when you consider that most people are probably going to want to buy 2 of these. So total cost of the system, you end up paying about $650. It's expensive, but it's a fairly nice system. You know, I'm willing to pay it just because I like electric tools. I don't like gasoline-powered tools. It's a little quieter than a gasoline mower, so I can listen to books while I'm mowing. My kids can start it. You know, it's easy to work with. I can solar charge the batteries if I want to. And you know, it's better for the environment. I don't like going to gas stations if I don't have to. I think we need to get rid of ICE engines in general. So this is a step in that direction, I think. Eventually, I'm certain the cost for all of this will come down. I think most of the cost in a system like this is in the battery and also in the controller for the mower or for the motor. The electronic speed controllers for these motors are constantly getting smaller and cheaper as time goes by. So I think that that's going to be a reduced cost issue. And also, lithium batteries continue to get cheaper as time goes on. So I think eventually it's not unreasonable to assume that you'll be able to get a mower like this for, you know, $300, $400, something like that with two batteries. But that's not today. So whether or not you want to buy one is kind of a personal choice. I like it. I'm going to be keeping mine. I'm going to be selling my Twin Force. So there's that. I don't feel the need to mow with this on film because it works just like a regular gas mower. I mean, it's great. I haven't noticed any difference between this and my couple of, you know, gas mowers as far as quality goes. You know, with the Twin Force, it had those 2 blades and it would sometimes leave a strip down the middle. This one doesn't do that. It's got a single blade. It works fine. It's a replacement. It's a gas replacement and it works great. So I'm not going to mow with it on camera, but just know that you can pretty much expect it to perform like a regular gas mower would. Anyway, Jesse with Create This. Hope you found this video interesting or useful. I have links to all of this stuff down below the video in the description. As always, thanks for watching and please subscribe.